3 true security guard horror stories. The empty floor that wasn't empty. My name is Daniel, and I worked as a night security guard for almost 7 years. During that time, I thought I had seen every strange thing a person could see while working alone after midnight. I was wrong. The building where I worked was an old corporate office located on the edge of the city. During the day, hundreds of employees filled the place with noise, conversations, and footsteps. But after 10 p.m., the entire building became a completely different world. The lights felt colder, the hallways felt longer, and every small sound felt like someone was standing right behind you. My job was simple. Check the cameras, walk through each floor every hour, and make sure nobody entered the building. The company had 12 floors, but the 9th floor was always locked. Employees were told not to go there because that section had been abandoned. After a renovation accident years earlier, nobody talked much about what happened, but every guard knew one thing: never go to the 9th floor alone. Of course, I didn't believe in ghost stories. Not until my 3rd week. It was around 2:13 a.m. when I was sitting in the security room watching the camera monitors. Suddenly, one of the cameras showed movement. Camera 9, the abandoned floor. At first, I thought it was a technical problem. The screen showed a dark hallway with flickering lights. Then I saw a person walking. Slowly. A woman wearing a white shirt was moving through the hallway. I immediately stood up. My first thought was that someone had broken into the building. I grabbed my flashlight and went upstairs. When I reached the 9th floor, the elevator doors opened. The hallway was completely silent. No footsteps. No movement. Nothing. I called out, "Hello? Security, is anyone here?" No answer. I checked every room. Empty. The strange thing was, the camera showed the woman entering the hallway only 30 seconds earlier. There was no way she could disappear that quickly. I went back to the security room and checked the recording. My hands became cold. The camera footage showed the woman walking toward the end of the hallway, but she never turned around. Her face was never visible. And then something happened that made me stop breathing. At the end of the hallway, the woman simply vanished. The next night, I asked the older guard, Mike, about it. He looked at me for a few seconds and then said, "You saw her too?" I asked what he meant. He told me that years ago, a female employee died on the 9th floor during the renovation accident. According to him, she had been working late that night. The security cameras recorded her walking around the floor after the accident, even though she was already gone. After hearing that, I requested a transfer, but before my last shift, something happened. At exactly 2:13 a.m., all the cameras went black. Except camera 9. The screen turned on. The woman was standing directly in front of the camera. This time, she was facing it. And even though the camera had no audio, I could somehow hear her whisper, "Why did you leave me alone?" The screen went dark. I never worked another night shift again. Story 2. The guard who answered the phone. I was working as a security guard at an abandoned hospital. The hospital had closed almost 10 years earlier, but the owner hired guards to protect the equipment and prevent people from entering. My shift was from midnight until 8 a.m. The place was huge. Hundreds of empty rooms, long corridors, old medical equipment covered with dust. The first few nights were normal, but on the fifth night, something strange happened. At exactly 3 a.m. The old reception phone rang. I remember staring at it for almost a minute. Nobody was supposed to call that number. The phone line was disconnected. At least that's what I was told, but it kept ringing. Finally, I picked it up. Hello? For several seconds, there was only silence. Then I heard a weak voice. A woman. She whispered, "Can you please send someone to room 214? I looked at the reception board. Room 214 was on the second floor. I thought maybe someone had entered the building. I grabbed my flashlight and walked upstairs. The hallway was freezing cold. When I reached room 214, the door slowly opened by itself. Inside was an empty patient room. The bed was covered in dust. The windows were broken. Nobody was there. Then the phone in the room rang. I froze. There shouldn't have been a working phone inside, but it rang. Slowly. I walked toward it. I picked it up. The same woman's voice said, "You came too late." The call ended. I ran back downstairs. The next morning, I told the manager what happened. He became quiet. Then he showed me an old newspaper. The article was about a patient who died in room 214 years ago. A woman who kept calling the reception desk during her final moments because she needed help, but nobody answered. Except me. That night, I quit. Before leaving, I looked at the hospital cameras one final time. The footage showed me walking into room 214. But behind me, there was another person following. A woman in an old hospital gown. She had been standing behind me the entire time. I never saw her. Story 3. The security guard on the night train station. This story came from a security guard named Robert, who worked at an old train station. The station was almost abandoned. Only a few trains passed through after midnight. Robert's job was to patrol the platforms and make sure nobody entered restricted areas. One rainy night, around 1:40 a.m., he heard a train arriving. That was strange. The schedule showed no trains at that time. He walked toward platform 3. A train was sitting there. The doors were open. The inside lights were flickering. Robert looked around. Nobody was getting off. Nobody was getting on. Then he heard someone call his name. Robert. He turned around. An old man was standing near the end of the platform. Robert asked, "Sir, are you waiting for a train?" The man didn't answer. He only pointed toward the train. Then he said, "You need to leave before it leaves." Robert felt uncomfortable. He looked back at the train. The windows were dark, but inside, he could see people sitting. Hundreds of people. All completely still. Robert called the station office. No answer. He looked back at the old man. The man was gone. Suddenly, the train doors started closing. Robert stepped back. As the train moved away, he noticed something written on the side. A date from 20 years earlier. The next morning, Robert asked the station manager about the train. The manager became pale. He told Robert that 20 years ago, a train accident happened on platform 3. Many passengers never reached their destination. And according to old security reports, every year on the same night, a train appeared. Nobody knew why. Robert checked the old security footage. The camera showed him standing alone on platform 3. There was no old man. No train. Nothing. But right before the footage ended, Robert noticed something. A second version of himself was standing near the tracks, watching him. That was the night Robert resigned. He said some places remember what happened there. And sometimes they remember the people who saw them.